It's just your second phase. But once you get to your where you can communicate so clearly with a person that the communication prints the card in their mind, that's when you don't need the cards no more.
But see, what you told me today, just with that kind of, you know how like you'll hear something and it puts things that you were kind of had question marks and it kind of lines all up.
Yeah.
That explains a lot of the activity on the airwaves in the last couple of years. I stopped reading tarot and it was coming in whether I was going to read the tarot or not, I think.
Yeah. So so you're reading the tarot, you're going through the 3 stages. The first stage is learning how to interpret the energy, right? That's the first level of it. Because you're looking at the card, you don't know what it means, you don't know what it feels like, but you got to figure out how do I tune into this card in order for me to know when I see this energy what it is.
Right.
Because it's gonna play out in real life, but now you gotta translate. You have to flip your tarot lens into the world. You're not gonna learn that before you learn how to interpret the energy of the card. Now,
Right.
now that you know how to interpret the energy, you go into what's called phase 2, which is the practice phase. The practice phase is you need to build a language stock of communication techniques where you don't need the card for the other person to understand when you're reading the energy that you accurate. They need the magician to have the wand, but the magician can wield the magic with or without the wand.
Right. Right.
Now, if you catch the magician away from his magical supplies and he have no wand, he can still do the magic. Now, in the class 2 of tarot reading and using it as the wand, as the tool, right, is to train you as a maestro to and conduct the orchestra of the energy. Now you're going to make the song every time you translate for a different person. That's a different song. Now you being maestro with the wands. The wands is the cards. The people fixated on the wands just listening in the back of their mind for the music. But it don't come from the back of their mind. You spew it out as the translation to the cards. This is training the reader how to communicate with so many different types of people in translations of the energy that eventually you'll be and talk to so many people about the cards that you could see the card in your head without ever holding the deck and explain to them the energy so clearly that it's like you reading right out of their book of life, because that's where it's coming from. But you have to teach yourself. Now, once you get to the point where you can communicate with so many different people, you can explain the energy that you're reading in the common language so clear that they can almost see their life playing out in the words you speaking, translating their energy back to them. Now you can do it without the cards. It's about building that communication between the listener and the speaker is the reader, right? Now, children love to be read to naturally. People
Tarot?
read books,
Oh,
read, right? Children, they done that too. We call it ABC cards. Just still tarot read,
right.
right? But they love to be read to because it's the human nature of exchange of information from parent to child. The child loves to hear the parents read. They love to hear the parents speak, right? They drawing out of the child all of the energy that is the parent in the child by that communication, because humans learn from other humans. The first teacher is the mother. The second teacher is the father. The mother teaches him about life. The father teaches him how to navigate that map mama just gave him. So once you get to your levels of communication, you realize that humans exchanging information, when you're doing tarot reading, you're actually reading a book to a child in adult form. And it's their book coming from their life. You open in their book of life because you're reading their energy and you're going through what's in this chapter for you, what's on this page for you, what's 3 pages in on this chapter. That's what you're reading. It's the reflection of their book of life that's written in who they are, like binary codes on the matrix. You using the cards as the lens, because once you get to the point where you can read without the cards, you can see the streamer.
Didn't you say that the Book of Life is like the what they call the Akashic records or whatever?
Yeah, that's the eternal records of everything in existence, and each person comes in with their own book of life. They book of life tell them every single micro step of what they're going to do. It just seems stretched out because it's holographic in nature. That means every single part have the full collection of the whole, and the whole is a reflection of every single part. It's holographic, right? It's 3-dimensional fixed position holographic memory. The fixed position aspect of 3-dimensional reality is the density of matter. The density of matter is what lets you know that you're going to have to stop at the chair instead of walk through the chair, because you can do both. But you want to follow the rules of the dimension in that you in order to create harmony and balance in the world around you. So you follow the 3D rules. When the chair comes, you stub my toe, right? Because you need to feel. You need to feel, because in 4th dimension mind matrix, you just information. In 3D, you need to feel. Is you an emotional creature. Your emotions is your navigation system. Once you learn to read your emotions get to tell you when to turn left, when to turn right, and that's what they call your instinct. It's keen instinct, divine keen instinct. And this is why when the devil set traps for you, the Lord leads you around them. That's your mama's spirit, because she's floating you through the matrix. The matrix is the mother womb of creation. That's why it's called matrix. Matrix mean womb. And when you research and locate the matrix, it's in something called a mitochondria. And it's all holographic in nature. It's telescopic. Zoom in, zoom out. And that's the training of the psychic mind to operate in the 3 dimension as an intellectual and emotional being. In balance allows you to see clearest throughout the planes. And when you say planes, you're talking about when you look out your window and you see what look like depth. That's the plane of depth. It's laws of physics that govern how you perceive your depth, right? Just like height. Height is depth going up, right? But down is nowhere. Down is right where your feet stop, because you got the law of density telling you that in order to have something called down, you need a base. A base means a fixed position. So this is what you call foundation of the construction, right? So you build the man from the feet up, right? The feet is learning to walk. You got to learn how to walk before he can learn how to run. So as you build, this is building the Temple of Solomon, aka the Temple of Man. The development of the child is the building blocks of the temple, using the psychic energy to bring 4th dimension into 3 dimension, bringing 5th dimension into 2 dimensions in order for the 5th dimension to manifest 3-dimensionally. We following the steps, and it's all read in the streamer, and the psychic readers is the readers of the ticker, and tied to every individual. You can read his part, right? But while you reading his part, you can't tell him nobody else's part unless it's in his part. And this is how your tarot reading becomes accurate, because you can only see and read within a field or a prism of that individual. In his macabre, that upward and downward pyramid that looked like a 6-point star, right? Metatron's cube of the energy. You can only read what's in that field. So if it doesn't cross that field, it doesn't translate into energy in the accurate tarot reader's translation. They can see each one of the light rays as it breaks through the prism into its own source of light. So now you can say, I got 7 interactions breaking into your matrix. That means you got 7 people dealing with your energy field that's translating right now, right? So now you tell them, okay, well, this one is red, yellow, blue, green, but whatever the 7 spectrum is color-wise, based on how it feels, they is in relation to them. And now you got a card that mirrors each one of the energies. And as the tarot reader, the card that comes up that your subconscious stack, matching everything up, when you flip it, now you got the card that's reflecting the energy that's coming from this person's prism of light that's telling you his life story. That's the Akashic record. That's the fabric, creative fabric that is reading the streamers in the matrix, and the book of life of each individual is all tied together by unified field theory. I ain't mean to go that far, but.
Okay, so, all right. All right, so that was a lot. It kind of, it's making me see things a little differently, in the sense where, okay, when I did used to read tarot, I approach tarot differently. I approach it like I do everything else in life, in the sense where I don't care what my bank account might say right now, but it's going to have this in this many hours. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people call that crazy, but I have proven over and over and over and over again I can do that shit, all right? So I know, huh?
You a Magdala.
I'm a what?
Magdala.
A Magdala?
Yeah. It's a priestess. It's a certain type of priestess, as in Mary of Magdalene, Mary of Magdala. She was a priestess from a priestess order. And it's your job is to use mandalas to write the future by how y'all feel,
Yeah.
in order to tie everybody's creative potential into the new reality that's being created.
Okay, so if I'm approaching, like you said, the unified field, as far as I'm concerned, if say you're looking at this hologram or whatever, oh, you can't even see my hands. I can't see you, you can't see me, but all right, so if you put your hands like you're holding an energy ball, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna pull a little thread right in there and bring whatever I want to me, okay? I know other people don't see the world that way, and it can get real crazy and can get real hectic. But when I was reading tarot, one of the reasons why I stopped reading tarot, as I was getting way too much information off of people I didn't want to know. All right?
Trust me, I understand.
And half of it, they would just be like, I can't believe you know that. Well, I'm touching your shit. You're asking about your ex, and I'm telling you all kinds of shit you need to fix. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stuff like that. They used to call me the I was a tough reader. I was gonna tell you like it is. This is it. But I noticed that that there will be people that will get a tarot reading and never change anything in their life. They don't use it. They don't use the information you give them. And
Stop. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. That's probably why you're not doing it anymore.
Oh no, that's
the wrong way of looking at delivering the message. It ain't your job for them to do something or not do something. You the
Oh
messenger.
no, I didn't pressure
Listen,
him.
you the
Okay, so
messenger. Your job is to just deliver the messages. You're not supposed to be disgruntled or overly elated about whether they follow through with changing because of the message. It might have been
mhm.
the message that's telling them to stay the same that you think is telling them to make a change, but they know what you're talking about better than you do because they know they self.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. But okay, where I was going with that is I think some people don't approach reality in the same way in the terms of they can mold it and they can shift it. And so to me, because I don't, I could be wrong, okay? I'm open to being wrong, but I don't feel that we're, all of us at least, are not on some railroad track and it's all predestined and you have to do this and you have to do that because it's in a book somewhere or in your energy field. You shift and you change, you move and you move the reality. So, but I think a lot of people that I did readings for, they weren't like that. I guess is what I'm getting to, where um, it was stagnant energy that just stayed stagnant, and they just wanted to know.
He was extorting half of them. He probably was extorting Ursha, everybody that he got videos on. Like, look, if I got a video on you getting hit up the butt, and I say, look, man, you ought to come up with 10,000 or some area, month or so, or else this video going out of, Brian Pompa ripping your behind wide open. And you gonna pay that 10 grand if you Meek Mills or somebody like that. If you somebody that's out here, going around, oh, I'm a Crip, I'm riding the 6'4", I'm a Crip blood from the West Coast. But then Diddy got you on tape, and somebody opening up your can. How is they gotta look for your gangster? I'm a thug. This masculine.
It's a whole bunch of download niggas that's gangster.
Go ahead.
Don't let that fool you. Look, if some of them gangsters go out and kill 10 people and come back and bend over and want you to put something in them. Don't you bleed for a minute because they gangster, they don't mess around. Right. That's why niggas get raped in penitentiary, because you got fags in the penitentiary raping niggas. And they normally pick on the weak. Then you find people like me, you find all these little characters running up to you that you don't know from Iraq and Iraq seeking help to protect them from some predatory, twisted-minded individual gangster.
Right.
Called himself a gangster. He hardcore. He was getting them in the streets. He was flipping 3 birds a week in here chasing boy booty.
In the jail. He's a booty chase. And then look, that's what I think, man. Based on my analogies, like I said, Diddy, like he come from that type of background where he can extort the extortion, that extortion, that type of energy. So
look, the Diddy situation is bigger than what y'all think.
Go ahead.
Everybody just looking at his depraved events and all that. So far, they haven't really mentioned no real criminal activity with evidence. Listen what I'm saying. They've introduced allegations.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen any evidence to support the allegations. They say they got it on tape. We ain't seen no leaked footage. Right. We seen leaked footage of the snowman raping that little girl on Lolita Express, and the other one on the beach.
Yeah.
On the island. Those leaked back in the day.
Yeah.
Right. Long before we even heard of Epstein, those leaked.
Right.
So it ain't no secret about what Bill Clinton was doing. He on video. Right. And everybody that was doing the dirt is on video, and everybody that wasn't involved in no dirt, they could be on camera, but they ain't on camera doing no dirt. Somebody had to lay eyes on that bullshit.
Right. So what you said is when they got Diddy's cameras, it's more than Diddy. So like if it could be governors, this whole card deck could fall with what Diddy had. Diddy just had no regular cats coming to this party. He had Shaq and his whole family.
He had the Reverend there. What the hell?
Yeah.
More than one reverend, y'all. Everybody stuck on TD Jakes. It was more than one of the. You might see Kurt Franklin in one of them freaky ass videos.
For sure. Him and Plies. They say Kurt Franklin look like Plies. That's funny. Yeah, but
I heard they related. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, they could be true. They look alike. I know he'll Plies of Washington. But this is my next question I got for you.
Look, Jamie Foxx aired his whole ass out.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx.
Liar. Yeah. You know, talked all that gangster shit, then want to do some turncoat ass snitch shit.
He's scared. Jamie Foxx said he was scared. Yeah. Jamie stay in Terrell, Texas, out there. Yeah. So this is what I was gonna ask you next. Well, he probably stay in LA now, but I know he got a house in Terrell. Now, do you think that when Diddy went to that hospital, said that he had like a little episode, and then all of a sudden he come back, it don't really look like the same dude? You think they could have possibly switched him out with a lookalike? Diddy got lookalikes or clones?
It's at least 3 Diddy's I didn't see.
Man, I know it's at least
one of them looked like somebody air inflated his face.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. The one that came back out to the hospital. That's the one they brought back in there.
Yeah, you got a couple of them. Like somebody lumped his ass up. I call him Fat Daddy.
That dude. And then I saw Diddy's son. Like somebody said, man, how you feel about your dad in jail? And then they could show like a $500,000 watch, and he was like, man, it's like the look on his face, like, nigga, my dad ain't in jail. Y'all, if y'all only knew, like, I just get left with my dad just a minute ago. Like, this nigga showing a $500,000 Richard Mille. You know what I'm saying? Like we still got it. Like, so I'm thinking this is all just a hype. The elites don't let the other elites go down unless, why would they let Diddy burn? Besides, he got pissed off about
you will become expendable. See, Diddy was doing some things that benefited his people. And this is what made him so this nigga going too far. He got too big for his britches now.
Yeah. He did talk political, started talking political, started going, talking about, political party. He was going to, being the connection with the black traditional culture that he got was connected with Bumpy. That's a bad look. He been watched. But let me ask you this though: who you think? Because we're talking about secret societies, and let's go back to Clyde Davis and the guys that started Diddy, and L.A. Reid and these guys. So what you think happened to Diddy? Did these guys introduce Diddy to the secret societies?
You just named the club of booty bandits.
Right, L.A. Reid, Clyde Davis, who else?
All of them, Larry Cohen, Jimmy Iovine.
They all run together.
All of them. The only one of them that look like they on the up and up so far from what I've seen been Rick Rubin. The rest of them is a piece of shit.
Yeah. Rick Rubin is the one they labeled as crazy. He a crazy white boy. He be having
Yeah, but he didn't put his money where his mouth at, so I can't say nothing about him till I catch him wrong. Then I can dig into his cheeks. I can't dig into him right now because he got too many receipts where he did stuff to help us. In that industry.
He one of them ones though. Rick Rubin one of them ones. He one of them like them peacetime white boys, like from way remember when they had that 70s movement, the hippie movement, where it was like all love, man, it's peace, man. Why you tripping, man? He like one of those type of guys. That's how
stoners. They call them stoners.
Yeah, hit this bong, man, and be cool, man. You gotta chill, man. Embrace the universal love and everything, man. He one of those type of guys. That's how Rubin is. And then he's a producer, man. I used to study. I'm a producer, so I used to study Rick Rubin and his how he produced for LL Cool J, Jay-Z, pretty much the whole
Run DMC.
Yeah, Run DMC back then.
He did some of his best work with Run DMC.
Right.
He was a youngster then.
Yeah. I think he produced that woke up that woke up quick, just about noon, just thought I just had to be in Compton soon. I think he
I don't know. I never heard that before.
The cruising down the street.
Cruising down the street, my
My
six
six
foot.
foot. Dun, dun, doo, doo, doo,
They
doo.
could have borrowed it from him. For as
Yeah,
far as I know, that's a
that's
Dr.
his
Dre beat.
style. That's his style. That's he on that. He the one that made that transition, like that helped DMC cross over to the rock and roll transition with the hip hop mix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
And
Aeros walked
boys,
his way with Aerosmith, put them over the top with the rock audience.
I'm telling you, man, made them boys trillionaires when he made them put that when they pushed it when they got with Kid Rock and all that. Oh yeah, them boy went to a whole nother time zone when they talk about
And
getting
look,
money.
sometimes Kid Rock be doing some stuff that looks so racist.
Yeah,
But I seen Kid Rock when he was a teenager,
right, right.
and he used to have niggas with him.
Yep.
And he used to have niggas bullying him too. That's what made him start hanging with brothers.
Yep.
That's how he got in the rap scene.
Wow. I didn't
He
know
was
that.
a DJ. He started off as a DJ.
Huh.
He let people bleed that racist shit, but he ain't really with that shit.
Somebody said, "What did Queen Latifah? What did Queen Latifah go to like be? Because we know her as this sister, this African centristic sister, Black Power type sister, and then she go on the Rainbow Project type thing because they did the In Living
If you
Color.
didn't know
Yeah,
if you didn't know she liked women when she first came out, then you behind the curve.
right. I mean, yeah, you can say that. Go ahead and say it, then, bro. Go ahead and
Look,
say it.
we not mad about people's preference. We mad about people pushing preferences on children.
That's right, bro. Speak on it.
I don't care what you do in your bedroom,
Go ahead.
but you just don't be taking toddlers in there with you while you doing it.
That's right. Talk to him, bro.
Right? We don't care about what grown folks do between themselves. And then now they got the audacity that if somebody
Yeah,
grown, they still calling people pedophiles now. If it's an age gap, that's wrong.
right,
They either old enough to fuck or they ain't.
right,
They
right,
if they old enough to give it up according to the legal standard that we got across the land, then this just their choice at that point.
right,
Stay out of other folks' business.
right. Mind your own damn business. That part. Yeah, I'm with that too, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you grown, that's your business. That's your business. Just don't be messing with the kids.
5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old is not mentally competent enough to tell you they're the other gender.
Yeah, right?
At that age, the only reason why they even having a gender conversation is because some twisted minded adult start telling them about gender and sex. Kids
Right,
are not interested in adult energy things unless an adult present it to them.
right.
People need to be offended when somebody else tell your child some freaky shit like it's normal. You ain't even supposed to tell babies 5, 6, 7 years old about regular sex, let alone some, oh, you look like you wanted to be a girl in your past life. Let me
Yeah,
dress you up and
yeah,
put this dress on you.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, don't ruin that baby.
I noticed that's another thing about secret societies. That gives me another question, Rod. It seemed like to me when I study the scriptures and everywhere where it says this is the abomination. They say, like in Deuteronomy, it says this is the abomination for a man to put on a woman's clothes, like for a man to put on a dress and high heels, right? It seemed like to me in like the Baphomet and a few other secret societies, you gotta perform those rituals just to be a part of it. You gotta put on a dress. It's like Will Smith, all of them, Martin Lawrence, they all had to put on. That's abomination. They had to do an abomination. Speaking of abomination, right? Obama passed
It's a
all the law.
humiliation. It's a humiliation ritual. It's
Go
the
ahead.
passport at $100 million or
Go ahead.
$40 million, whatever the passport
Yeah.
is.
Right.
You either put this dress on, get fucked in the ass, or get shot in the ass. It's your choice.
Yeah. I guess Denzel went with the bullet in the butt. Denzel went with the bullet. Hey, I probably would took the bullet too, though, Denzel. I don't think you touch it. Hey man, you can shoot me. Hey man. Hey man, for real. In training day, they shot him for
Yeah.
real in his ass. Everybody know that.
So, what's the purpose of a humiliation ritual?
Go ahead. That's yeah. Go ahead. Break that down.
The humiliation ritual is to take a part of a person from them
Right.
in exchange for a benefit.
Hmm.
You take a piece of innocence from a person, and that piece of innocence you took from them is gonna pay off for you, and then you got to pay them.
Hmm.
That's what they call selling your soul, being humiliated. And some people in good kind, like for instance, Flip Wilson dressed up like Geraldine for years,
Mm-hmm.
right? And um, it wouldn't have been a humiliation ritual to make him put on the dress in the movie because he's not perceived as being above reproach in regards to confusing the genders,
Right.
right? But somebody like Red Fox, they put him in one,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? That's humiliating to him.
It is.
He's
It
a
was.
he's a man's man. He don't want to be looked at no kind of ways feminine, but we gonna make him wear a dress in the name of comedy,
Right.
right? You thinking that they laughing with you and they laughing at you. He know
Right.
what's going on. That's why he ain't want to do it. It's the
Right.
same with all the other ones that protested, like Cat Williams. He don't want to do it.
Right.
He
Gang.
not finna
Yeah.
he not finna let them humiliate him, and that shows you the level of regard that he hold himself.
Right. Right.
Right, a lot of people don't hold themselves in high enough regard to know that it's certain things that you can't put a price on. If everything you have has a price, you have very little value as a person.
Right. Right. They want you to perform these rituals, and then once you get to a certain point, he wants you to give up some blood, sacrifice somebody
The
close to
blood
him.
sacrifice is a whole different thing.
Okay.
When they start taking blood sacrifices for people, that means that they already got that person. Now we got what we want from you. You got to give us something else. Right. But most of the sacrifices that we be thinking these people, oh, Kanye sacrificed his mama. Sometimes they just take them. They'll just take them. They take who they want because they already got your ass.